Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Bikini and the Brain podcast. My name is Ashley Coltwasser, and to the left of me is Adam Bonilla from TeamElitePhysique.com, and we're coming at you with another episode. And this one's something you're pretty excited about, I know.
Yes,
because you are the best stage mom
have an award
ever.
I have an award. Should I get my award? I have it back here behind me. I want to get my award.
He's legit, guys. He is the best stage mom ever. So don't anyone try to come for his title because it's going to be a failure on your part. He's the best.
Number one pageant mom awarded to me.
I like it.
from
legit.
From Angels Competition Bikinis. They awarded me. What's so funny, they awarded me that in front of, 150 bikini girls or something? Like a whole stadium full of bikini girls.
Round of applause. Yeah. You had like a standing ovation. You had your own parade.
Oh, yes.
You had like fireworks coming in the background and these streamers and confetti.
Walk through the stage. I had like a stage song, a walk out.
They rolled out that red carpet
so
for
funny.
you.
When they said this one goes out to like pageant mom, I knew it right away when they said it. Like I was like, I know this has got to be me. I was like, I know this has got to be me. It's so funny. I started cracking up. That was actually pretty funny. That was like one of my favorite moments. That was really great.
That was a good one.
So the reason that I'm getting good at being a pageant mom is I've had some good training from the athletes and from Ashley too. And so I know what to look for. And it's funny is that sometimes Ashley will compete and she'll see something in the pictures and then she'll be like, did you see this? And I was like, oh crap, I didn't see it. So now I'm like, I'll be like, I better see this. So now I'm like, know everything to look for, but it's helped me so much to get better. But we're talking about today, the finishing touches, all the little things that are going to help you in bikini. Now understand, this is a physique competition, but it's not like any other physique competition where only the body matters. For bodybuilders, it doesn't matter. You can have no eyebrows and giant mohawk. It doesn't matter. Bodybuilding is judged from the neck down. Bikini is a total package. So it's the ultimate fitness model competition. So all how you're put together really does make a big difference. So all these little things where I've actually seen top competitors like an NPC just not win because they didn't have their package together, and it's so sad when you see that, their tan's off, their hair's off, their whatever. So today we're going to go over all the little tips, all the little tricks that can take you from, hitting 9 out of 10 buckets to all 10. So,
okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
So first let's start off with the suit. Okay. The suit. It's such a fun thing for girls, like as they're getting close to shows, like picking out the suit. But the problem is what your favorite color might be in real life might not translate as well to your competition bikini. Under those lights, it can change the color dramatically. When you have the tan on, it can change the way a certain suit will look. And of course, the stones as well can make a suit look a little bit different. So, there are some colors that are considered safe colors, and there's some colors that we want to avoid. So some of the safe colors I would say is Adam's favorite, royal blue. We call it Bonilla blue.
It's good on everyone.
Because it looks good on everyone.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody will ever get the feedback from a judge like, oh, that suit color just didn't work for you. So whether your skin tone is light or dark or your hair is blonde to black, it should work. Royal blue. Now, other blues work pretty well, I would say. Maybe something like a powdery blue would be maybe something you wouldn't want to go with as much, or a really dark navy blue, maybe not.
Comes off as black sometimes.
Yeah, so that's something you have to consider as well. So blue, usually pretty safe. Red's a good color. Some greens, some people can pull those off. Purple is a pretty safe color. An eggplant, maybe not so much a lavender, which in general I would say like pastels are a little risky too.
Yeah.
Pastels or powdery colors, a little risky. And what are some other good colors for the stage?
Yeah. So as far as the pastels go too, the other thing you got to think about, especially if you're a, let's say, budget bikini competitor, the lighter colors, sometimes they'll look good. Sometimes they'll look good on the right skin tone, but you get less use out of them because they soak up that tan really fast. You could see it like in 2 shows. The tan gets covered. I used to have this girl who would wear a white suit, and it had really good contrast, and it wasn't the best poppy color, but it had good contrast, and it was different. She had bright blonde hair. And I was like, okay, it's a pretty decent look for that. But literally like one show out of it because there's tan got all on the edges of it and on the inside when they do the touch-up sprays and stuff, and it gets that little just hue of color. You get 1-2 shows out of that. So something to think about too. A red suit, you could wear that quite a bit more. A dark blue suit, you're not going to see the tan on it so much, that type of thing too. So those other things to consider if you're looking at long-term and using the suit multiple times. But just think about when you're doing the suit, picking the right suit, just think of, we're trying to do is pick a uniform, right, for your show. And that's how I like to explain it to people. If you're a football player and you get drafted to the Denver Broncos, you're wearing orange whether you like it or not, right? And so think of it as your uniform for the stage. If you don't like if you don't like green, but it works really good on your skin, sorry, you're playing a sport, wear the uniform. It's just whatever you're going to do best in that sport. We got to get away from, I just love, pink, or I love, yellow, whatever the case is. It's whatever you're going to do best on stage. It's going to create the most contrast and complement your skin tone the most. And just, for this one occasion, just ignore your favorite colors. And, maybe your favorite color does work for your suit. That'd be great if it does. But if it doesn't, then, just go with what's going to work best for you. So what I'll say is pick colors that are going to create good contrast to your skin tone. Pick colors that are far away from the tan, so you're not looking monochromatic. So like, for example, the red Ashley wears, which is like kind of like this red here, which is like this bright red-ish color in that tone. It creates good contrast. But if you go with the really maroon red, it almost comes off monochromatic on some skin tones. You're going to have usually like a yellow undertone to your skin or a red undertone to your skin. Try to stay away from those colors. Like for example, an orange wouldn't be the best color on 95% of the skin tones out there, but there's some where it would work. A really, really dark skin tone, an orange might work great on. So but because the tan's kind of orange, stay away from that. So just think, okay, is this bright against the tan? Not looking at it at your current skin tone, but with the tan on. And I've even had some people get a bottle of Pro-Tan and like put it on their hands when they're looking at swatches and stuff, and then just compare it and just think of the opposite end of the color wheel for your color against your skin tones.
That's really smart. Yeah. And also keep in mind, like I said, the stones can also kind of change the way your suit looks. So let's say we have like just, a grass green suit. If I put just like the white crystals on top and it was just white crystals, it would turn into minty green. So that's something to consider as well. And sometimes it doesn't necessarily translate in person, but when you're under those stage lights, it's going to be like, whoa, a lot of white stonage going on. So just keep that in mind. And I would say too, with the suit colors, don't try to be like a trendsetter. Yeah. Better safe than sorry. Don't be that one person that's like, hey, no one's wearing a gold suit, so I want to be the first one. Yeah. There's probably a reason why no one's wearing a gold suit, So this is something to keep in mind. And, I think like, you can have a little fun with the suits, but don't try to create a new style, and even with the connectors too. I was probably the last person to hang on to those window connectors. You love those window connectors. I held on to those as long as I could.
Actually, it's hard to make changes sometimes.
I know, because I was like, I'm a person of my ways, okay? Everyone was converting to those like double stone connectors with just like that thin strip, and I was like, no, I look good in the windows, I got to keep them. Well, I finally got rid of them in like, what was it, 2020? Yeah, finally. It took a lot of convincing, but just look at the current styles. Don't try to be too different. Of course, be your own unique person, but don't try to be like I said, don't try to set your own trends. Probably not going to work out very well.
Yeah, and one more thing too about the stones on the suit. The stones can really, how she said, change the color of the suit. So if you had, let's say, a bright blue suit, but then you put really those like dark blue stones on them, it'll kind of come off as like a deep purple, black, navy, and you kind of ruined the bright blue of it. So pick stones that are going to complement the suit color. And because if you cover a full suit in those dark blue stones, well, now you have a dark blue suit. It's no longer a blue suit. You barely see any of the material in some of these stones. They're getting so, especially when you look at angel suits, they have that crystal radiance pattern where there's like big and small stones. Mm-hmm. So they take up like so much of the available material space that it really does become about the stone color and less about the suit color itself, because it's more about the stone color. It's covering, 80% of the material available. So it changes the look of the suit quite a bit. So just be smart with that. I'm a fan of keeping things simple. If you're not sure what to do, I would say contact, Angels does that.
I was going to say they have the free consultations so they can go over with you, what would look best for your skin tone, your hair, and all that. And
I'm a huge fan of that.
Yeah. Use code Ashley K Fit at checkout
Ashley
for a
K Fit.
discount.
Use it.
Ashley K Fit. Woo, woo.
No, they're a great, and then they don't sponsor this at all. They're just a great company. I've had, I don't know how many hundreds of suits over the last 10 years with their company. And I could count on one hand problems I've had with them. And I'd have to think about them too. I'd have to really think about it. There's never been, oh crap, her suit ripped before nationals. There's never been anything like that. It's if there was anything, it'd be this, it didn't fit her cut. The cut was a little off, or she lost too much weight and it doesn't fit her as tight. And they'll sew it back and give back to her within a few days. So, so I'm really a big fan of that and of their quality and just the people there too. So yeah, I just like that. You can call, you can get a FaceTime, they can tell you, hey, on your skin tone, it's just so much easier. You know?
But that's one of the most exciting things about competing, I think, is choosing your suit. And, in general, all these finishing touches, it's I love feeling like a fit princess for a day, playing dress up. It's such a cool feeling. It's one of my favorite things. It's I worked hard and I dieted hard, but now I get to dress up like a fit princess. I'm playing dress up, you know what I mean? So it's fun. It's really a lot of fun. So, and I think a lot of girls are under the impression that with every show they need a new suit. That's not the case. You can wear that thing for as long as you want.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need, if it works for you, don't feel obligated to keep buying a new one for each show. I think that's silly.
Yeah, for sure. And you've gone through pretty much every shade of green that you can, and it's a lot of times people just want to switch it up because they want different pictures. They think it changes the picture. I'm your body changes the pictures. Your suit's not going to do much to the pictures, So yeah, if you're a budget bikini competitor, just know, one suit is all you really need. There is a scenario I talked about in the last podcast or the last bikini review that I do about having suit colors that blend in with the background, which happens from time to time too, a little bit. We're not talking at a national level or a NPC level really, but a pro level. If you have two suits, bring two suits just in case you run in that scenario. Because there's some times where, let's say someone's wearing a bright blue suit, but the whole background is all blue. It kind of takes away from the contrast. So if you have the option there where you have a blue and a red suit and you see that the background's blue, then it might be a good idea to go with the red because it's going to make you stand out a little bit more if they both look good on you type of thing. So just a good option if you have more than one suit that I'll mention to people if they run into that situation. So
yeah, definitely. So when it comes to jewelry and shoes, we can briefly go over that as well. So with jewelry, I think a lot of people overthink the jewelry. That's something that it's not going to make or break you. Just something to help you feel pretty. In fact, I've gone on stage before with one earring missing. No one noticed until I got to the hotel room and I noticed it. And I've forgotten my jewelry altogether at finals at one time. No one noticed. I think a lot of people overthink it. Just something, finishing touches, just something to make you feel a little pretty, I guess, little, fancy with your rhinestone rings and stuff. But one thing I will say is don't overdo it. You know, you can definitely overdo it and get crazy with all these big stones and colors and stuff. So
the bracelets is where I see people get a little bit crazy with it. Yeah.
Yeah, or these big rings. I don't wear the rings, but I used to. But yeah, so just, whatever's going to make you feel fancy. And as far as shoes, honestly, being comfortable is the most important thing when it comes to shoes. The Shoe Fairy makes great shoes, honestly. Their Olympian 2.0 shoes, amazing. It's super comfortable. And I know you haven't got to experience this, Adam, but if you slip your foot into one of the Shoe Fairy shoes versus a regular one, you'll know the difference.
I draw the line there. I'll do the bikini walk. I see some of these guys doing this these days, wearing the heels and doing these videos, and it's so cringe to me. I just can't go there. I'll go pretty far. I'll do the walk with you. I got the bikini walk down, but when it comes to the heels, my line is drawn. So, but yeah, I've had really good experiences with the Shoe Fairy. They're great service there. I know both of their main marketing person and then the owner, they're really great and they really care about it. their product, and that's what basically everyone uses. So you have a code for that too?
Ashley K-Fit.
Look at that. We're going to throw out some codes today, guys. Give you guys some discounts.
Yeah.
And then with the jewelry, I will say the only thing that, just to give you kind of guys like a guideline, I honestly just like a single bracelet on one hand. You can go single on both if you want, but where I see people kind of where it gets distracting, that's where you want to start. When you get like multiple chunky bracelets.
Yeah. Yep. Or like the 4-inch thick ones.
Yeah.
They're like a cuff.
Just keep it simple. A small, even medium-sized bracelet on one arm is fine. Your front posed arm is usually like the best one to go with. And then the other time I see people have issues, and it's usually only with like shorter competitors that will wear the really long earrings. I will see sometimes the earrings like go onto the shoulders, that's a little distracting too. So just don't be distracting. So those are the two things I would say. Oh, and you said the ring size already, but don't go overdo it with the bracelets, and get some earrings that, they dangle, but just that don't touch your shoulders. Cause I've seen that quite a few times. I get some of these girls will go as big as they possibly can. And I'm like, man, it's touching your strap over your shoulder. Usually the shorter competitors is where it is, but yeah.
That makes sense. So let's talk a little bit about posing. So, with posing, it changes from year to year. It's always evolving. You got to stay up on it. You got to stay current, because man, if you're out of the game for 6 months and you're not paying attention,
so crazy.
There's going to be new poses, new transitions, new styles. It's literally always changing.
It hits so fast too, man.
Yeah. But one trend I see this year, well, for the pros anyway, is less is more. And I'm thankful for that, because they were getting out of control, these routines. It's like walking front, walking back, doing the same pose like 5 times. It's like, okay, we get it. Next, please. Let the other girl go now. Yeah. It can be a long day for the audience and the judges. So I'm glad that it does seem to, it seems like the trend is just less is more. Do you agree?
Yeah. And it's, it's hard for competitors to understand that and to get it, because they're like, well, that's my time and I'm on stage and like I've earned it and this and that, and I get that, but less is more. So we'll give you an example with Kimber. We completely changed her posing routine, where from the UK till to the US, where she went to the Wasatch, and then the last one she got fit that last weekend. What was the last weekend's show called? I forget all these shows. Girl Power. Yeah. So I always call them Florida. I call them whatever state they're in. I just call it that. Usually half the time I'm right. And her posing routine now, she doesn't walk out and do a T. She just walks straight, like at a diagonal to the main box, and then walks back and then walks off. Right. So it's 40 something seconds, just like yours is 40 something seconds. Mm-hmm. And she started doing better with that routine. Whether that's part of the reason she did better, not the whole reason. But people think, oh, now I'm not walking out doing a T, I'm not doing a walk up, I'm not doing a walk back. We cut like 30 seconds off her pose. It's like almost half. And the judges said they love it. They said they love her posing routine. It's the best it's been. Yeah. And I'm like, people don't understand that. And they say that about you too. Your posing routine is getting better. Your posing routine is getting better. Yours is 40. It's like anywhere between 45 and 48 seconds usually.
Right. And I don't walk front or back.
And so, and we keep, I don't know how many times Sandy has to say it.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, it's weird that people fight her on that, right? And they don't like physically fight her or say, oh, I'm going to do it against it, but they don't listen. It's weird. Yeah. She goes to seminars and she says it. I've heard her personally. I've been to probably like, let's say 5 or 6 of Sandy's seminars, like in Vegas or whatever. And I mean, she's probably more understanding that, but I've probably heard her say it at every single one, right? She says, guys, less is more. Stop doing, check-ins is where I've heard her say it. I've heard her say it at check-ins probably 20 times. She says, less is more. The longer you're on stage, the more I can see your flaws. When you first come out, I see you and I'm like, wow, she looks great. And then the longer you're up there, I'm starting to see, oh, well, she needs a little more of this. Oh, well, she needs a little more. Oh, her conditioning. She starts seeing it. And I'm like, you guys, you keep saying it, but you're not listening, and you keep expanding your posing routine. Yeah. You have 2 poses, front, back. That's it.
Yeah. It's like, you definitely start to fade like as your routine gets longer and longer. And the judges, they're there to judge, and they got so many athletes. I'm pretty sure they don't want to sit through like the same pose that you just did 5 times. It's like, okay, we get it. All right, move along. But that's funny because people don't listen. In fact, you don't get to experience this, but like backstage, sometimes at finals, they'll say, okay, ladies, you got to do a condensed version, like they did at the Arnold, for example. Condensed version only. Don't do your full routine. Keep it at like whatever, 40 seconds. And the expediter will tell the girls right before they walk on stage, and they'll be like, "Yep, yeah, okay." And I'm like, that girl literally just did her full routine. Like this is not helping you. What are you doing? But yeah, that's a little annoying. But I'm glad that it's becoming more simple, because it's more about the physique and less about like a little dance you do on stage.
Yeah.
I'm really big onto that. So it's just like and even for the athlete, it's so much less stressful to not have to worry about all these poses, and just like, hey, I'm hitting my best, and I don't have to think about it as much. And then I can show them, everything else at the comparisons, because that's, very important too. So you want to give the judges a little sample, so they want to see you in that first call out again, So just think of it like that. But I also see a lot of girls trying to emulate like style that's not theirs, and I think that's a mistake as well. Like, there's different styles. Like, we have the sexy sultry, we have the basic, we have the cutesy bubbly, so it's just like, don't try to be like a sultry poser if you're not. I'm not, and I'm well aware of that. So you won't see me doing any of that. Yeah. So some people pull it off a lot better, me not so much. So I just, keep your own style and what's natural to you, I would say.
Yeah, and it's important to know too, because I would say it doesn't happen anymore, but maybe like a couple years ago, when like everyone was posing sultry style, like we felt kind of pressure for you to start posing like that. I was like, well, maybe we got to pose like that. And the judges always said to you, no, you're posing, like, you don't need to do that. You look fine with your posing. Just keep your style. Like they never said that. So these are coming from like the top judges. So if you're more of a cutesy, bubbly poser, Ashley's kind of like right in that middle, right there.
I'm like halfway basic, halfway bubbly.
Yeah.
Basic bubbly.
Basic bubbly. That's, and that works for you. And it, know that even at the very, very top, we're talking the top people, Tyler or whatnot, said, no, her posing's fine. She doesn't need to do anything different with her posing routine. It's got good style. It's good. Keep it, So just know that I think a lot of people will see so many of the like sultry posers that they're like, that's what you have to do. It's not what you have to do. It's not at all what you have to do. So
absolutely. Yeah. Some people pull it off really well though. So God bless them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think some mistakes that we see with the posing itself is not only like emulating a style that's not yours, but just being a little too rigid or flexed on stage. So in bikini, you really shouldn't be flexing anything. I mean, some people will flex a little bit to cheat it here and there, but if you are flexing, it should never look like you're flexing. And I think that's a big mistake. If you look too stiff and too flex, that's not what bikini is. Bikini should be loose and fluid. So even as you transition, your arms should be like weightless. You know what I mean? Fluid, weightless arms, very smooth transitions. Nothing should look too like, tense, nothing should look like you're flexing or that you're flexing your muscles so hard you're shaking or something. We don't want that. It's more about just being loose, fluid, comfortable, smooth.
Yeah. And I think that's a perfect way of explaining it. Sometimes you're going to want to cheat a little bit. You're going to want to have a little bit like of your lat, maybe in that front pose, you have a little bit of it out and you're kind of just a tiny bit. So there's a big difference between me being completely relaxed with no lat showing, me just going like that, where there's a tiny bit of lat showing, like I'm doing it now, or me going like this. And some girls get caught in kind of this middle weird position where their shoulders up and you could see that they're doing it and their arms kind of like rigid out. That would be the difference. And the judges know what you're doing when you're doing that. When you're doing it and they're not sure and they're just like, oh, she's got a great V taper. Like it looks good and relaxed, like a good natural V taper. Mm-hmm. Like that's what you want from them, So you don't want to be opening a lat spread type of thing. So
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But with that being said too, it's like, although we're not like flexing everything, we should always be nice and tight though. That's something to be said, because you don't want to just like let it all hang out, on stage. You got to be nice and keep that core nice and tight. And if anything, I know a lot of people, they do flex their abs. Some people do, some people don't. I just keep it kind of tight, I guess. But that's something that's more individual to the person. So another thing that, oh my gosh, I'm so glad it's starting to, it was a trend like last year and it's fading away, but the whole like touching yourself while posing thing, I hate it so
the judges hate it too
much. They hate it too. Another thing that they say at seminars and stuff, but people don't want to listen, but they'll see like their their bikini idol do this little butt swipe underneath their butt cheek as they're transitioning, and then they want to do it. And I'm like, no, don't do that, please, for God's sakes, no.
What is that?
I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't, to me, it doesn't look very classy.
Yeah.
Some people do like the underneath glute swipe, or as they're transitioning, they'll like cup underneath their butt cheek. And then some people like run their fingers up their whole like midsection. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Please don't.
I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, it's like, I was like I literally like put my head back. I was like, what is this? And then all of a sudden I started seeing it. And I was like, this is not going to be a trend. There's no way. Like, I'm not teaching this, you know? And, yeah, it took about the next seminar for me to hear Sandy say, she's like, I don't want to say who's doing it, but I just want to say, you guys, don't do it. It was so cute of her. She was like, guys, just don't do it. We don't want to see that, you know? So
yeah, I mean, you know, listen, half the judges up there are female. That's not something that's appealing to them, but it's not the direction we want the sport to go.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I will say I saw a lot of wellness girls do it, so maybe they're getting it from wellness girls too, because wellness girls are really flamboyant and stuff with their posing. It's like bikini posing, but like intensified by 10 times.
Yeah.
It's like really like extravagant. So maybe, I don't know, they saw that, but it shouldn't be a thing for wellness either. But that's something I really just hate seeing.
Yeah, because wellness was kind of underground for a while, right?
Yeah.
In Brazil and stuff. It was only in Brazil, and they have their own little style. And Europeans, like in general, do Brazilians count as Europeans? They count as no, they don't, right? They're Brazil. They're not. South Americans. That's what it is. I'm so bad at.
Wait, are you
a
bikini or are you the brain?
I said Europeans. Oh, that's funny.
All these Brazilian girls are gonna make fun of you forever now.
I know. What's bad is, why are Americans so bad at geography, right? Like, we're so bad at it. Like, we just don't, like, we only know our states and that's it. It's like, if it's not America, it sucks. I did notice that.
Blaming it on the system now.
Yeah, I haven't blamed it on the system. I'm gonna blame anything but me for taking responsibility for that. But it was so underground for so long that I think that they just kind of developed their own style, and it was like a, you know, overseas style, South American style. And I think it started coming into the US, and they just brought their style with them, and then Americans started kind of copying it, right? And it just kind of took off. But yeah, they've put their foot down on that one pretty strong on it.
Yeah.
So good thing to not.
Yeah. I still see it every once in a while though. And when I was watching Kimber's show in the UK, a girl was doing it really badly. But maybe that's because overseas show, but it is fading away. But last year it was like out of control, man.
Yeah.
I was like, no. I cringed so hard. I'm like, please don't.
You know what? Where you could perfect your posing, Ashley? Do you know where you could perfect your posing?
Where?
This Saturday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Yes, at the Contest Prep Center for free. Here at the Contest Prep Center,
what time,
we have a seminar for free at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock?
10 to about 11:15ish.
Oh, and isn't there like some sort of a glute camp after?
And there's a glute camp after 11:30.
That's a 2 for 1.
2 for 1. Come on out.
I will pose and train glutes. Wow, that sounds like a fantastic way to spend my Saturday.
And I'm gonna be.
Thank you for the heads up.
I'm gonna be training people too, so I'm excited about it. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I had a lot of time. I had a lot of fun with it last time. Yeah, so
I will be there.
I'm excited for this one this weekend. I think it's gonna be a good one. So this Saturday at 10. It's open to everyone. It's free for everyone during posing. If you're not on Team Elite Physique, you pay $25 for just the glute camp portion of it. But it's a fun time. So soon we're going to turn these into, I'm remodeling the house. That's a few houses away from the prep center. We're probably a few months away from getting that done, but we're going to turn it into a glute camp, bikini posing, and then a barbecue.
Oh my gosh, my first barbecue.
I know.
Adam always had these barbecues on the weekends that I was gone. It's like, hey, let's celebrate. Ashley's not here, and let's throw a barbecue, and everyone's invited except for you.
3 times. I've done it 3 times, and Ashley hasn't been there each time. I feel so bad about it.
Wait a minute. Technically, what was the one after the Nevada show last year? It was at your house, but I don't know if that was technically a barbecue.
Oh yeah,
you were.
It was a barbecue. We barbecued. It was, you were there. Okay. Yeah, Hugo was there too. That was nice. Okay. Well, you've gotten 1 in 4 or so that's good. But we haven't done it at the prep center now. We have to do it at the prep center Vegas. So yeah, either that or I'm going to get like a taco truck with like grilled chicken or something. That'd be cool.
Let me know. I'll bring a Jello mold, Jello casserole or something, sugar free.
Okay.
Something fun.
I'm going to bring a European Brazilian cake.
Okay. I like that.
They're all the same. Anywhere in South America. All right. So, all right. What's next? The hair? Or is there one more?
So
that's it. Hair.
Yeah, like, no, there's tons more.
Oh, I meant in the posing.
Oh, yeah. Well, hair. So, the thing about hair, it used to be like, how do I say it? A lot more reserved with the hair. It used to be like, oh yeah, in order to turn pro, you get one of two hairstyles, either straight or a little bit curly, right? But now it seems like there are much more diversity in hair.
Yeah.
Like I've seen girls turn pro with no hair. But I will say, across the board, I guess a good rule of thumb is just make sure it's well maintained and, looks nice, right? But as far as like what's allowed and what's actually going to help versus hurt you, I would say better to be safe than sorry. You know what I mean? I mean, could someone turn pro with blue hair? Probably, but why would you want to risk that if that would be a feedback? I'm sure it's possible and maybe it's been done, but is that helping you or is that hurting you? Because I would hate myself if my feedback after a competition was, well, I was having it at first, except for your hair. That was the deciding factor.
Yeah.
I could not sleep at night if that was the reason why.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but it's just the reality of things. And I think that we have to understand going into the sport, there are some disadvantages to different things and you have to understand. So if you have, let's say, a non-natural color hair, which would probably be the best example, can you do it? Yes. Is it going to be, let's say, a point down in the judges' minds that you're going to have to recover? Then that's what I would avoid. So if just something is off, you're going to have to be that much better than everyone else where that can make up for that. So eliminate those possibilities and understand this is a fitness model contest, right? It's not just a bodybuilding show. So people ask me that all the time because they'll have that color hair or they'll have like very short hair. And I'll be like, well, is it the most ideal thing? No. And are you going to have to overcome that within your physique and be better than everyone else to maybe a little bit more? Yeah, probably, to make up for that. We can't deny that that's part of a judged criteria. It's in the criteria, your skin tone, complexion, beauty flow. Like these are all judged criteria. We can't get away and like just because it hurts people's feelings to say, hey, like, sorry, that's just part of the sport. It's a fitness model contest. So yeah, so try to plug all the holes you can. And, I have seen it happen. I think it would happen a lot less now, but there was a girl who had like really bright red hair, like non-natural color red hair. And I was like, dude, you have the best physique like in the whole show. If your hair wasn't bright red, and this was years ago too. I was like, you'd probably win the whole show. And then she ended up getting a first call, but got pushed outside. I thought I had the best physique. And then after judging, she was like, she dyed her hair like after judging. She was like, you think it's enough to make up? I was like, judging's done. Like I was telling you for over 2 weeks, like judging's done now. You're not going to change the score because your hair's dark. So, yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe that wouldn't have mattered, but it is something you got to think about. Because it is a fitness model contest. Do you look like a fitness model? It's kind of like a, does Miss America have like bright, like poofy hair? They have regular hair now.
Poofy hair, like big hair?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if they do anymore, right? Like that type of stuff. So, but think of it as like that with bodybuilding, that with muscles. Yeah.
Definitely. And here's the thing too, is like, I will always say this to girl, you never actually have to change your real hair permanently to do what we need to for stage, right? There's ways around that. Okay. So let's say the girl with the red hair, you know what she could have done? She could have done a semi-permanent hair color on top of it, where it's going to maybe last a month or so. And for girls that have like short hair, you can wear extensions. For girls that have like even hair that's like, maybe you can't put a color on top of it, you can wear a wig. There's many ways around it. And even if you just have to do it for the one show day, and if it's going to help you place better, then do it. But make sure you're confident in it and make sure it still ultimately feels like you and not just like, not like you're being someone else. So, even if that's just like toning down the color of your hair temporarily, even with blondes, experience it too. Like if your hair is too light or if it's too, like that dark blonde, light brown color that's
like
close to the color of your tan. These are things you have to consider and keep in mind. So certain colors of hair don't necessarily look that good on stage.
Yeah. Yeah, there's again, the contrast thing comes up. It's almost like you go blonde to the point where it's not your skin tone, or you just go dark. Like it's kind of that middle, like whatever's going to create that contrast with the skin tone. I had one girl who, and this was years ago, and her physique was awesome. Like her physique was so good. And I was like, oh, we're going to win USA's for sure with this girl. Like I have no doubt. Like it was one of those ones where I was like super confident in her. She is. And, her hair was very much the color of her skin tone. I thought it kind of looked different. It looked good. I was thinking about it. I was like, it does look good because she's really pretty, and it just looked good. And then what happened was her suit that she got wasn't ready in time. It wasn't an Angel's suit that was given to her. It was this other girl from Denver. And she didn't get her suit ready in time. So she just took a suit off the rack and got this silver suit. And I was like, so she put on the suit, and I was like, ugh. Like I didn't want to tell her before the show because there's nothing you can do at that point. She only has a silver suit with her. So I was just like, all right, whatever. Her physique is so good, like she's gonna win the show anyways, and maybe she won't win Miss USA, but maybe she'll at least win her pro card, And then so she ended up getting like 12th place at USA's when her physique was just awesome. And then I talked to the head judge after, and she told me exactly that. She's like, her hair really like didn't stand out. It was very monochromatic. In her suit, like, did you pick out that suit? And I was like, no, like it was an off the rack suit last minute because the suit maker didn't have her suit done in time. And so she just took it from the rack. And she's like, I didn't think you put her in that suit. So why don't you change her suit, change her hair color? I can pretty much guarantee this girl's going to win North American. So she just goes on. And I was like, all right, blue suit, dark hair wins her pro card. Like that was the difference.
Yeah.
Same body. There was zero difference in the body. Right. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah. And then it's funny because I was almost like scolded by the judge. I'll tell you who it was after. She's like, why would you let her wear a suit like that? I was like, it's like I have a suit in my backpack. Like I just pull out that fits her. Like I have all these suits or something. It was so funny. It was almost like, she was almost like, you've been doing this too long to let her wear the suit. Yeah. It was so funny. So that was my last scolding from her.
That's a great example. It's like nothing physique wise your posing needed to change. It's just like points getting deducted from these little things that you don't think are that big of a deal, you know, like, oh, hair, whatever, but they do make a big deal. Even like like the little things. You never want to give the judges a reason to knock you down, which is also why, nails too. I don't do anything crazy. And oh my gosh, are they kind of neutral?
I was wondering if you're going to be hiding the nails.
Wait a second. They're not crazy. You know what that means?
Something's happening soon.
Something's happening soon. I don't know what's happening. Something's happening soon because she doesn't have crazy nails right now. But with the nails too, it's like you don't want. Could I win with like neon orange nails? Maybe the judges won't notice, but maybe one will, and that might be the deciding factor if it's close. And I would never want that. I would never want to be told, it was close between you and this girl, but the nails were a little distracting. I would hate that. So I always play it safe with nails, and like I do like a neutral or a little glitter or something a little subtle, but nothing like neon or crazy. And you know what I mean? If it matches your suit, that's fine too, but nothing that's like too loud or obnoxious, like these like 4-inch long nails that are like claws with danglies on it and stuff, like Cardi B nails. But so you never want to give the judges a reason to mark you down. But going back to the hair, a lot of people don't realize that the actual shape of your hair needs to be correct for your back pose. Like you always say, like you don't want the curtain to hide your shape, right? Your waistline. So even if your hair isn't like too long, it's not like touching your butt, if it's like covering your lats and your shape and it doesn't taper in, that's not going to do anything good for your physique because you can't see your taper. Yeah,
that's a good point. And so what we talk about with the hair too and the cut, like 3 inches above the suit on the lower back is kind of the good rule of thumb, where you can see the lower back just a little bit, and just so it creates that distance of the glutes popping out from the back versus kind of a curtain hiding that distance, if that makes sense to people. So I've explained this before, but think of like a wall, and you can move that wall closer to the edge of your glutes, and then your glutes don't look like they're projecting as far out. And then if you remove that wall and you see the lower back where your glutes look like they project farther out, because there's now that wall's removed versus that curtain of hair, like not showing the projection of it. So every little bit matters, and everyone's always surprised that that's a thing, but we're like, yeah, it's every little bit matters. Every little thing matters. So
absolutely.
yeah, I've been at shows where my girls have gotten outposed or outsuited for a pro card that one time, or out-haired for a pro card that one time.
Out-haired.
I got
out-haired.
I got out-haired and outsuited one time for a pro card for a professional stat. Can you believe that? And the judge just straight up told me, like, it was the suit and the hair. Like, change her suit and her hair, and she'll get her pro card.
That was some honest feedback. Then.
Yeah, it's a good thing having a good relationship with the judges. So like, but yeah, isn't that crazy? I was like, really? Like, he's like, yeah, it just didn't stand out at all. Like, just blended in with everyone. And yeah, wins her pro card, a show later. It's just so wild that the little things matter. And people think, and I think as a coach, one of the ways of becoming a good coach is just having like a God-given talent, right? So you're just great. And another way, more along the ways that I've learned, is just getting your ass kicked so many times and learning from each ass kicking that you're like, okay, I won't do that again. And you accumulate all these L's and you're like, okay, I won't do that again. That's the important part, is don't do it again. Don't do it again. I've learned a lesson in the last weekend I just told you about. And so it's like, okay, I remember that one happened twice. It's always going to be one of these things. So, that's how I've learned. That's how I've got. But that was one, to me, I was like, at that time, it was like 2012, I think, or 13. And I was like, it's good enough. I was like, it's good. Like, I don't prefer it, but it's not bad. That's kind of how I thought about things. And now I'm like, no, if it's not perfect, don't do it. Like, it needs to be perfect, everything. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's get into makeup a little bit here. So, Adam, as you guys know, is a fan of girls doing their own makeup, and I agree. If you can, though.
I thought you were going to mention our makeup video from a long time ago.
Well, they already know about that. I don't have to remind him, but there is a makeup tutorial featuring Adam, but that's okay. Anyway, and I agree with you. I think, like, if you're decent at doing makeup and you're comfortable doing it, and you've had experience with it, go for it. But I will say this: if you're not even good at your everyday makeup, don't even try to do stage makeup. So I think there are girls that will benefit greatly from a makeup artist, although it might not be the most convenient. There are some that, you can tell by their everyday makeup, you're like, let's just hire a makeup artist. Yeah. Not to be mean, but maybe some of these girls aren't even used to wearing makeup. Some girls go all natural 365 days a year. Except for stage day. You know what I mean? Like, some girls just don't have that experience. So I would not trust a girl that's not good at doing their everyday makeup to do stage makeup. Yeah. And here's the thing, guys. It's a tough one, because I almost want everyone to do their own makeup now. And there's makeup tutorial people. They'll like teach you how to do makeup. Our favorite is makeup. If you go, it's Lindsay Ambrosia, but on Instagram, it's Makeup Madame. Is that just it? Is it just Makeup Madame on Instagram? But Lindsay Ambrose, if you look her up, and she does these tutorials where she'll do like a FaceTime with you and teach you how to do your own stage makeup. And it's not that expensive too. It's like less than the cost of like one makeup at a show type of thing, or maybe around the same as like one makeup at a show. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the reason that I'm not a huge fan of it is because I would say more times than not, they get it right. But there are the times where they don't get it right. And it happens semi-frequently. I would say 1 in 10, maybe 1 in 12, where I'll have a girl and she's like, my makeup looks terrible, right? And I'll be like, yeah, if you know how to correct it, I would correct it, and that's with the makeup artist. But the bigger issue isn't that. The bigger issue isn't the control of the execution. The bigger issue is the control of the timing. Even last weekend, I had a show. I had 3 pros in the show, and one of them had their makeup at 3:00. Oh my God, a.m.
Yeah, a.m. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was at 4:00. She had to wake up at 3:00. I'm sorry. She had to wake up at 3:00. And so, when I'm telling these girls to wake up and eat at their normal time, because a lot of time, it depends on the girl. If the girl's really lean and pushing it a little bit, I'll say, eat right when you wake up. And if the girl is, like cruising, like Ashley's kind of a cruiser with her peak week. Like, she doesn't flatten out too quick. She holds really round, bubbly muscle. Even if she is a little bit flat, like, she's still round. So it's not as critical for Ashley, but some girls are critical. And I'm like, okay, if you're right where you need to be, then just eat at your normal time that you wake up. But if you're too lean, then eat right when you wake up. That's kind of like how I'll dictate it. But what I can't take into account is, okay, if you wake up at 3:00 and you're a little too lean and I need you to eat right when you wake up, and then you went to bed because you're nervous at 11:00, so you slept for 4 hours and you're already too late. Now am I technically, like, how am I doing the math on that? Is it now just another meal? and she's on a streak of more meals. Is she getting more actual meals in now? It's a hard thing to.
You're thinking about meals. I'm just like, I need all the sleep I can get, you know?
Yeah.
You're not going to feel your best if you have 4 hours of sleep. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's show day is already pretty exhausting, and you want to go on stage with so much energy and just looking well rested and not stressed out and just in a good mood. So even if your body, I mean, forget that. I'm thinking of like my mood, but
yeah, true. That's another part of it too. And especially if you're going to like that last show was in the East Coast. So luckily Kimber does her own makeup, but if it was, let's say a West Coast girl going to the East Coast, she's not going to go to sleep till 11 or 12 because it's 3 hours, the 3-hour difference. And then she's gonna have to wake up at 3 or 4 to do her makeup because her appointment's at 4 o'clock. So it makes it very difficult on the sleep, on the eating, and then you're up for, I think they went on stage at 11 or 12. So if that girl was up from 3 to 12, so 9 hours versus being up for, 4 in terms of food, So
right.
Yeah, it's just different. The water's going to be different. The food's going to be different. How big the stomach is going to be, because you're going to have more volume of food in your stomach's going to be different. So I would highly recommend you doing your own makeup and just getting that extra sleep and just making it easier on yourself and not being up in that extra stress. So,
And on the opposite end, if you get an appointment slot that's nowhere near morning and more so close to you when you got to go on stage, how many times have we saw girls freak out because they're still in the makeup chair and they have to line up?
Yep.
It's insane. I could never. Like, that stresses me out just thinking about it. Like, I could never. Like, you can't win, It's like either super early or just like close to when you go on, if you're lucky, you get a nice in-between appointment. But geez, that is stressful too. It's like some girls can't even pump up because they're just so behind. And it's just like, what class are they on? And you're in a makeup chair and you don't know. It's very intense.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it.
It's I've had it happen where it's it kind of backfired on me a couple of times because I get more anxious because I'm anxious and I'm backstage and I'm seeing their class line up or I'm seeing them call the numbers and I'm like texting the girl and I'm like, hey, I don't want to stress you out, but your class, they are calling your class right now or they're calling whatever. And then the girl will come down, and she's just stressed out of her mind. Or I've had a couple of times where they're not stressed and they're kind of like just moving slow. And I'm like, and I'm stressed and I'm like, I don't mean to, I was like, I remember one time I was like, I don't mean to stress you out, but you know how I'm kind of moving you along? Like, I need you to do that 20 times faster. You have zero time to pump, to oil, to this. And she's like, okay. And I'm like freaking out with the stress. Cause I'm like, I don't think you're going to get on stage with even your heels on at this point, or no oil, no pump. So yeah, that is one that it really isn't. I didn't even think about that part of it, but that's the bigger stress probably of them sitting in a chair when they're lining up your class. Because you never know with these shows. You just don't know. Like last year, there could have been 400 competitors in this show, and then Bikini Girls didn't get on until 2 o'clock. And this year, for some reason, it went weird. There might have been another show that opened up in the same area that was 3 weeks earlier, and now there's only 100 girls in this show, or 100 competitors in the whole show. And all of a sudden, they're on at 11, but the makeup artists from last year think, oh, you're going to be fine till 2, and you're in that makeup chair at 11, and they call your class, and you're like, running downstairs. Do your makeup if you can. If you can. Learn that art. Learn that art.
It's very helpful skill. Like,
how hard would you say it'd be to learn from, let's say a guy like me who's never done makeup in his life? How hard would it be for me, time frame wise, if I really tried? I don't have no idea.
I think that's a question I can't answer because at the end of the day, it is like an art. So just like you're just like, hey, could I ever become a good painter? I don't know. Do I have that capacity?
Is it that?
It's an art.
It is, huh? Okay.
It's. You gotta learn the ins and outs and your own face too. But I think it's, as long as you're somewhat decent, you can learn, but it's better to be safe than sorry.
Okay.
I would say. But yeah, I guess it's a hard question to answer. But yeah, I'm glad that I do my own makeup, and with my sponsor, I could get free hair and makeup if I wanted to, and I always reject it. Hair sometimes I'll get done if my girl Charity from Stage Ready Hair is there.
Charity, did we give her a shout out? Because she's awesome. Yeah. What's her Instagram?
Or is it? I think it's Stage Ready Hair.
Stage Ready Hair. Yeah. Charity, thank you for all the
hairs.
I never get to I don't know if I've met her. Have I met her? I don't know, but thank you for all you do for
all
Ashley.
The hairs.
because
so many hairs.
Yeah, we're pretty particular about everything, you know, and we have to be at this level. And so thank you for that, for all your hard work, and the execution has been great. It's getting better too, which is, I didn't think you could, but it's gotten better over the years. So so thank you, Charity Stage Ready Hair.
Yeah. So if she's at a show, I will get it done by her, but it's rare that we are at the same show together. But I do my own hair for the most part, and sometimes Sam helps me with the hair too.
Yeah,
so it's nice to have a hair helper. But I always do my own makeup. You know, even I have the option of getting it for free. I always choose just doing it myself. I just don't want to deal with the stress, and I think it's like relaxing just to kind of sit down before a show and just like do it myself, take my time on my own schedule. You know, I don't have to worry about someone ahead of me making me late. You know what I mean? I'm in control. But you know, I think like when it comes to makeup, if you're doing it yourself or you're looking to get into it, I think there's like a few things you should know. Well, firstly, you know, with stage makeup, it's going to be darker than your everyday makeup. And that goes for eyebrows, that goes for eyeliner, that goes for lips, that goes for everything, you know? So I think like one of the hardest parts about the makeup itself is like matching your face to your tan, which your face should be a little bit lighter, but nothing too drastic. But I see a lot of girls having issues with that. So what I do is I use a color. I've been using this since I started competing. MAC Studio Fix NW45 is the matched color to a tan. Now, with that being said, not every tan is going to be the same color with every show, right? If I get one tan company and they spray a little lighter, one a little darker, one's a little more red tone, one's a little brown, you know what I mean? So with that, I always bring like a few different like regular shades to mix and be like, well, my tan's a little lighter this show, so I'm going to mix some of my own foundation with it to lighten it up a little bit. So that's something I always do, is like bring a few different shades, because it's not a guarantee I'll be that color on stage with my tan. It's, you know, it all depends on how they're spraying us that day. But I do find that that's like the most difficult part for girls. And I will say something a little controversial, because I know everyone that does makeup or makeup artists will tell you do the opposite, but they'll always say, don't tan your face, don't tan your face. I tan my face, and here's why. Because I can match the color of my face a lot easier than if I just let it go pale. You know, it's less room for error. I think the reason why, and maybe someone can correct me, I think the reason why makeup artists tell you not to tan your face is because maybe these girls don't know to rinse or wash off your face. Like if you're going to tan your face or spray tan your face, you gotta rinse it off. You gotta wash it off for show day. Otherwise, it's going to be muddy and gross. And that's probably why they tell girls not to do that, I'm assuming. But it's been helpful for me to spray tan my face and just wash it off on the show day so I can better match it. And you know, the Sunday, you know, the day after the show, you won't look like a freak. Like, why is your body so tan? Your face is pale. Yeah.
I see that sometimes with the neck, because the neck's tan and the light, it just looks so different. That's so funny. No, I've actually been a fan of that too. Just a light tan on the face for the lighter competitors, especially because you could see that. Yeah. You could see that there's a significant difference. And I think just less total makeup is used. I'm not sure if that's the case. But
yeah, probably because you don't have to be as opaque with it, because you still have that like little head start, you know. But again, if you're going to spray tan your face, you must wash it off on show day. Okay, before you put the makeup on, you gotta wash it off completely. You're just basically working with the stain at that point, just the stain of the spray tan. So super important. So now that we're kind of talking about tan a little bit, geez. Now, tan is something I will never do myself. No ifs, ands, or buts. I will not do a tan myself. I think that for me is risky. I'm a very fair complexion person. So it's very easy for me to mess up my tan. Now, if you're darker, I think it's a lot easier. But for me, I will never do it myself. Thoughts?
Yeah, I go back and forth with it. It depends. I will say it depends. So when I was competing, so that's funny is I've had, competition experience since I was 18, right? So, but back then, more people were doing their pro tan by themselves than not. So I'm kind of old school with that. So when I was competing, I was like, I'm just going to keep sticking with what works. But I am darker, I'm in that middle tone of like already one coat of tan for Ashley.
Yeah, you got my base coat on.
You know what's funny? I'm so sensitive with the sun now. I sunburned my ears over the weekend. My ears.
What? I don't even get sunburned.
On my ears. It's because I've never in the sun really anymore, but I got a new bag that I was outside and Kimber was gone. So I was just like, I just kept going outside and doing bag work. And so, I sunburned my ears. They hurt. they hurt. Anyway, but so some people just do well with it. So Kimber does her own tan. She does her own tan. Yeah, she does her own tan. And so it's another thing. It's a convenience thing. But the risk is, and I do say it's a big risk, is that you're risking not being the same color as everyone else and standing out in a bad way. So that's the risk. With Kimber, she's pretty light as well. She's probably the similar complexion to you. And she does 3 coats of pro tan. So she did 2 coats, but here's the thing. She did 2 coats at one show and they said she was a little light. I wasn't there. I was in the UK. They said she was a little light. So she does 3 coats now, but she's always done her own tan.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I know there's some bodybuilders that still do their own tan, and it's just, that's the risk you run. Now, the benefit that you run is you're not going to run into, if you're very good with, let's say, pro tan, and it doesn't turn you green, and you use, let's say, someone else, a different tan, and it turns you kind of green, that's the risk you run there. But it's a pretty low risk. I would say it happens 1 out of, 25 shows or something. It's not a high turnout. And they can never tell you the reason why it turned someone green and it didn't turn someone else. They say it's like the pH of their skin, why it did that, and they had a reaction. But they don't know who's going to do it, who's not. Like, everyone's not turning green that weekend. It's just a couple people. And so, and that's happened to me multiple times throughout every year. It'll happen to me at least a few times throughout the year. A girl will kind of turn green. And you're like, I don't know what the reasoning is. They can't tell you what the reasoning is. It's not a skin prep thing. It just happens. It's just a weird thing. It's happened to you once, and you washed it off, and they corrected it.
It's happened to me several times. I have a tendency to turn green, depending.
Huh? It's probably from all your veggies you eat.
Yeah, or maybe I'm just like a copper penny or something. And I don't know. It's like
bronzed. She's a bronzed. Just must be my bronzed bikini bod is all.
Yeah. So. But I'm not. I think some people might have that if they're wearing products or don't know how to skin prep. But believe me, it's not my first rodeo. I know how to skin prep, and I'll turn green sometimes. It's just different people do have different tans. But yeah, going back to what you said, like the risk of doing it yourself is not being the same color. And it can be tricky because if you're doing your own tan yourself, you might think you're dark enough until you stand next to the people that got spray tanned, and they're like, oh, never mind. And even on show day, the tanners themselves, is like some will be a little more generous with the spray tan, and then you'll find some will be like everyone's lighter, everyone's darker. So that's something to keep in mind too. But hey, she's good at doing it, then it's one less thing to worry about.
Yeah. Some people, it just depends. I don't know why some people do it and some people don't, but I've always done my own. But I'm also, that's kind of how I was brought up in bodybuilding too. Everyone just did their own tan. I was tanning bodybuilders with even that Dream Tan stuff back in the day by myself with these guys. But if you guys don't ever use Dream Tan, just so you guys know, sorry as a product, Dream Tan, not trying to bash you. It's just that it's almost like a lotion. Basically, it's a tanned lotion. And they used to use it in bodybuilding. They use it in like a lot in like India still. And it's like basically a lotion that just sits on top of you. And if you sit down anywhere, you just leave like this coat. It's such the worst product. It looks awesome on stage, I'll admit that. But when it comes to like walking around or functionality, literally you take a shower and you look like you have no tan on. It doesn't stain you at all. It just sits on you. It's crazy. It's like a wet paint. Yeah, it's the craziest thing. And that's the ones where you'll see where they have like that shimmer gold to them too, kind of thing. They look like an actual statue. Again, it looks dope on stage, but when it comes to functionality and walking around backstage, it's a mess. Especially if you get like a Dream Tan show. Anyway, but that doesn't really use.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a lotion, like a little. It's funny that we used to use that stuff. But anyway, the Pro Tan, awesome stuff. I would say the best thing to do with that is probably just try it yourself once at least, see what it looks like on you, and then go there. It can save you quite a bit of money. So if you're a budget competitor doing an NPC show, I would say, yeah, it's probably fine. If you're, it's even hard to say because Kimber's so light and it works for her. but you do run the risk of being a different color than everyone else. I think that's the biggest thing.
Well, she's also got a lot of experience with it too. But if you're an NPC competitor, and it's like one of your first shows. Oh, you might either have like somebody that knows what they're doing help you, or a coach or something, or get the spray, because if you're out there on your first show and you're not really sure what dark enough is, then,
it's a tough one.
Yeah, it is tough. And something, I think one question I always get asked when it comes to tanning is, do I need to like shave my whole body? I mean, there's, obviously there's certain things you want to shave. That's obvious. But people often ask, like, do you shave like your whole body? And I say, yeah, I do. Even places I don't think is hairy. I'm not a hairy person. I'm really not. I'm like the opposite of Adam.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I have to call in a crew for me.
I'm hairless.
I feel so aerodynamic when I shave too. It's like just wind resistant, just like I go right through the wind.
That's funny. Do you know that I shave my legs like once every 2 weeks?
Yeah.
So I'm not hairy, but I shave everything, and here's why. Everyone will have like a little bit of peach fuzz everywhere, and you don't even notice it until you shave, okay? But that little peach fuzz can pick up the tan and prevent it from absorbing into your skin. So although you don't think you have hair on weird places like your stomach, for example, it's good just to double check and shave everything, because little peach fuzzes can take away from your tan a little bit. Yeah. Make it not absorb as well.
Yeah, and then what happens is that the tan will kind of put the little tiny hairs that you don't see down, and then that little where it's down, it'll leave a little spot of no tan. And then when they go back up, you get these little spots everywhere, and you don't know why. And that would be the reason for that. So I would say everyone shave everything.
Everyone shave everything.
And you swim faster that way too.
Yes, exactly. And you'll weigh less.
You weigh less. And you run through the WIM. You have proper aerodynamics.
Oh, and here's the thing. Don't use a fresh razor, though. Don't use the new one if you're going to shave your whole body, because you're going to get nicks everywhere. So just a little dull. Slightly dull.
I didn't know that.
Well, if you're shaving like everything, because all the crevices.
I haven't done that in so long. I wonder how that would even. I remember it used to feel kind of cool when everything was like smooth.
Oh my gosh, we should experiment.
Yeah,
just
I don't know.
Everything one day. Everything.
I haven't done it in so long.
No eyebrows or anything.
What was the last time I think it's 2000. Gosh, I gotta look at my trophies. I don't even know the last time I competed. I gotta look, but it's been a while. So yeah.
Oh, that's like a Nickelback song.
It's been a while.
Yes. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do know. Is that it? Is that what we got today? We're finishing with a Nickelback song? All right.
I can't even do the voice. It's been a while.
I know it. Yeah, that's.
It's been a while.
I can't. I'm going to try it. That's pretty good. Do you sing? Do you sing?
Oh,
Do you?
Car karaoke every once.
Car karaoke? No?
No, I'm not a good singer.
Huh. Okay.
No. We all have our things. My talent is hamstring, and that's it. But not singing.
You know what? It's better to be really good at one thing than to be like okay at a bunch. You know what I mean? So like if that's your thing, great. You're doing great at it. You know what I mean? So
at hamstring.
Whatever. Screw the singing. Just keep hamstringing.
Hamstring versus singing.
I mean, look at my geography skills. You know what I mean?
We can't be good at everything.
I'm going to be good at one thing. And I am going to blame the system, Ashley. It was a California, I think it's ranked 50th. It was a California public school system. Geography skills here. So, hey, everything's Europe besides America. Anyway, with that, guys, thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you later.